Dixie here. It is starting to get colder outside and I'm honestly 100% dreading it. So I've been trying to brainstorm some places I can go backpacking into the cooler months without freezing my butt off. So today I want to tell y'all about what I've found. I tend to take off the colder months like the late fall into winter from backpacking because I hate being cold so much. But this year I've had one stroke of bad luck after the other, which has kind of prevented me from backpacking as much as I would like to. And now I'm waiting to be cleared by my cardiologist so I can get back out on trail. But I've got an itch that has not been scratched yet this year, so I would like to go on some sort of trip during the winter. The first trail I want to tell you about is the Trans-Catalina Trail. It is on the island of Santa Catalina, which is part of California and is located just south of Los Angeles. This trail is about 38 miles long and it spans from one side of the island to the other. The two start/end points are Avalon and Two Harbors, and you can start or end at either side, but it looks like most people start at Avalon and end at Two Harbors. So they go from southeast to northwest. During the winter in this area, the average high is about 63 degrees and the low is about 50 degrees. But either way, whether you're going in the warmer months or colder months, it would probably pay off to have sun protection. There are apparently 5 different campsites on the island that you do have to make reservations for, so you can't just camp anywhere that you would like to. But it does seem like there are enough to where you could really spread out the mileage, and even if you're a beginner, it's doable. It's not something that you've got to already have trail legs for. Aside from the views, there are other cool things that you can experience, like the critters. They've got bison, foxes, bald eagles, and apparently rattlesnakes, which I understand not everyone would be excited about that last one, and it might be a deal breaker, but they are out there as in the other areas of California. I'm just excited that there is wildlife, because sometimes when you go out on some of these islands, it just seems like there isn't much out there. Everything that I've read indicates that the trail is well marked, but they do have a track for this trail in the All Trails app, so I would recommend having that because from what I understand, there might not be a ton of service on that island. On another note, the starting and stopping points at this island, the Avalon and Two Harbors, they seem to have some sort of amenities and different things like lodging, food, also some activities like maybe zip lining. So you could add on a different type of adventure to your backpacking trip if that was something you were interested in. To get to Catalina Island, you can take a ferry from the mainland of California to the island, but you just need to make sure that when you're booking, you're gonna get dropped off at one of the points, either Avalon or Two Harbors, and then picked up at the other one. So it wouldn't be a round trip from just one port. You'd have to, make sure you're coming in one and leaving from the other. All in all, I am intrigued. It looks like a cool little island to explore. The next hike I'm considering is in Big Bend National Park, which is in Texas. In the All Trails app, there are several different tracks for the Outer Mountain Loop, and I've read that the South Rim is one that people enjoy, so I haven't quite honed in to exactly what route I would take yet. It seems like most of them are pretty similar, except when you get to Emery Peak, it just depends on what you do there. But I'd probably want to take one of the longer trails, somewhere between 30 to 36 miles. The big draw for me to Big Bend National Park is I've heard that they have some of the darkest skies in the US. So going there at a time when it would make sense to get some really amazing star time lapses is a draw for me. Plus, I haven't been backpacking in Texas before, so being able to mark that off the list would be pretty cool. A fun fact about Big Bend National Park is it is home of the Chisos Mountains. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I know somebody will tell me if I'm not. But anyway, apparently this is the only national park that fully encompasses an entire mountain range. From what I hear, Big Bend also has a lot of diversity because it is bordered by the Rio Grande River. It's got some desertous areas, and then of course the mountains. The best time to visit is from the late fall to the early spring, because apparently the temperatures can get pretty high there the rest of the year. In December, you can expect temperatures from highs in the 60s to lows in the 40s. I would say the biggest downside of this particular trek would be the water situation. It looks like I'd have to get out there and cache water for myself. This place is pretty remote, so I don't know how many trail angels are really involved with this park. So it looks like I would need to fly into either El Paso or Odessa Midland, rent a car, and then head out there anyway. So it wouldn't be much more trouble, I assume, depending on the rental, to go out there and cache water for myself. And since I'd be doing a loop trail, I can just park, do the loop, come back to the car, and then return to the airport when I'm done. If you're interested in this trail like I am, you do have to book your backcountry camping permits through the National Parks website, so it is something that you probably want to plan somewhat in advance. I had actually intended on doing this trail before I started the Arizona Trail back in the spring, but again, this year just has not worked for me in backpacking, so those plans fell through. The third trip I'm considering is to Point Reyes National Seashore, which is also in California and near the San Francisco area. Just like in Big Bend, in this area there are so many different loops and trails, and you can connect this one or that one, so I haven't honed in on exactly what I would do. But again, it would be one of the bigger loops that goes to all the things that you want to see and explores as much of the area as possible. The longer ones that I found for this National Seashore in the All Trails app was anywhere from 20 to 30 miles. Apparently in this park you can expect to hike along the coast, which would be beautiful, and also through forested areas. From the reviews, I saw people bragging on Almere Falls, not sure if that's how you say it, but that's a must-see stopping point, so I definitely want to check that out. I read that the best time to visit this park is actually from March to May, but going in the colder months, there's probably going to be less traffic, so more availability, especially for a last minute planner like me. The average temperatures that I saw for December and January were highs of about 59 to lows of 45. That's still a little frigid for me, but if I'm coming from temperatures here that are getting down to freezing or below freezing at night, then it would still be better than that. Also in the winter at Point Reyes is when you have the best chance of seeing whales, seal pups, and sea lions, which would be absolutely incredible. And it's the best chance for having clear visibility, because apparently at other times of the year it can be pretty foggy. Evidently there are only 4 backcountry campsites, and you do have to reserve them through the National Park Service. Finally, kind of as a bonus trail, if you will, for winter backpacking ideas where you're not gonna freeze, I want to mention the Florida Trail. I've already done this, so I probably won't revisit it this soon, maybe one day, but specifically the Big Cypress Swamp right there at the beginning of the Florida Trail is something that I feel like everybody should see in their lifetime. To do this hike, you would start at the Oasis Visitor Center and hike northbound for 30 miles till you get to the rest area on the south side of I-75. And then while you're there, you might as well cross I-75 and then walk down the canal a ways, which is called Alligator Alley, just to see the huge alligators chilling in the canal. And although it sounds scary, I mean, it really feels pretty safe while you're out there. Most of the alligators are on the opposite side of the canal anyway, and as soon as they see people, a lot of them just go down into the water. They're scared of you, I promise. Just don't take any little dogs. But the reason that I recommend Big Cypress Swamp is it's possibly still my favorite stretch of trail, just because it was so different than anything I had ever done before. It felt like I was in the movie Jurassic Park because it was so prehistoric. And seeing the different birds and wildlife in that area, also the snakes and the gators, I like that kind of thing. If you're terrified of them, then maybe that wouldn't be the best trail for you, but still, just the view that you get and being a part of the Everglades, I don't know, it was special to me. I wanted to see a Florida panther and a Burmese python, but I didn't get that lucky. And I also want to mention that if you watch my Florida Trail videos and it scared you away from this section of trail, just keep in mind that I went at a time when water was higher than normal, so it's not always like this. I do think you're still going to have a good bit of water walking depending on when you go. But the Florida Trail is also well documented for campsites, water sources, etc. through the Far Out app, previously known as Guthook. And if not from the waypoint specifically, then if you click on the existing waypoints, you will see comments where hikers have shared all sorts of information. As far as travel goes and shuttles and such, you'd want to probably park at the Oasis Visitor Center. You do have to get a backcountry permit for backpacking through there, but it's free. And then you can arrange with a shuttle driver or a trail angel to pick you up at the northern end when you come out on I-75. Now, as far as finding a shuttle driver or a trail angel, I highly recommend joining some of the Florida Trail groups on Facebook, and you can inquire about that information there. All right, y'all, well, that is all I have for you today as far as my brainstorming of what I'm wanting to do this winter and not be freezing cold. So if y'all have done any of these, or if you have other suggestions, please feel free to comment in the comments below with any thoughts, recommendations, etc. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time.